Welcome back to Optimize Health, where we're making easy, healthy, and delicious meals. Today we are going to wrap up our microbiome series with discussion of a few things you're probably doing and unknowingly harming your microbiome. We're also going to discuss toward the end of the video a few things that you can do to help boost your microbiome even further, and these are things we haven't discussed yet. And then I'm going to do a little recap on kind of summarizing everything that you can take away from the microbiome series. So getting right into it, some of the things people are probably doing and unknowingly harming the microbiome has to do with some of the toxins in our environment. So the main things would be organophosphates like glyphosate. These are pesticides that are used in non-organic foods, and not just on vegetables and fruits, which may be somewhat obvious, but also especially on things like flours that are made with wheat or grains. And grains that are not wheat, there are plenty of grains that are also sprayed. For example, non-organic soy is also sprayed. So if you're eating products that are, for some people, like vegan marketed products, they may be using a lot of vegetable-based substitutions and like flours that they use, different plants that have been heavily sprayed with glyphosate. And these are microbiome disruptive because they are actually designed to be a antimicrobial, like an antibiotic, and they kill bacteria and they kill weeds and as a pesticide, but they also kill our good microbiome bacteria. The next thing that I would list that is also sometimes hand in hand with the glyphosate is gluten, found in things like wheat and barley and rye. There are some other gluten-like compounds in foods like corn. So sometimes people will say like a gluten sensitivity can cross-react with corn. So in general, grains can really be iffy. True grains. So some grains, true grains are somewhat iffy as far as causing potential harm to our gut bacteria, as well as what they also do is pull the minerals that we are ingesting, whether we're supplementing or we're eating the minerals like calcium, magnesium, zinc, and iron. They pull these out of our system so that our body can't absorb them. You should talk to your doctor, healthcare provider, or veterinarian to see if any of these recipes, suggestions, or contents of these videos are right for you. Nothing contained in these videos are intended to be taken as medical advice. Use at your own risk. And that creates further stress on our body and can affect immunity that way, especially in the winter with lowering zinc. So some of the other ways that we're looking at the damage from some of these plant compounds is oxalates and phytates. These are commonly found again in grains and also foods like spinach that are higher in oxalates, and these can cause disruption in the gut and can cause, it's almost like little needles that can damage our gut lining and cause leaky gut. So we discussed this in a previous episode about how to try to address leaky gut. I'm going to have a few more pointers for you as far as supplements and ways to help to heal and improve a leaky gut and improve gut health in general. The next thing we want to talk about are monotonous foods and basically eating the same things over and over again, even if we're trying to eat a vegetable-centric diet. If we're not doing enough rotation of variety and including enough different options, that's just going to make us less advantaged and less optimized, because our gut is more like a rainforest, and in optimal health we would have as many different good and supportive species of bacteria as we can. The way we do that is not just introducing them with the cultured foods and the fermented foods, as we've discussed prior, with things like the kimchi or yogurt, chocolate that's a raw organic chocolate is a fermented food, so that's a great one to be able to include in your repertoire there. But not just including those, you need to eat the fibers and vegetable compounds that these microbiome and these organisms want to eat so that they can survive. Because just putting them in there and then not feeding them is kind of like getting a pet and not feeding it, and it's not going to do very well. So that's one thing that we need to do, is increase the variety of our foods, especially with plant-based different food options. It doesn't have to be a large quantity of different varieties, but one of the experts that I was listening to, she was discussing having about a tablespoon of multiple different vegetable and plant-based foods, and about 30 different vegetables per week is optimal. And you can include seeds, nuts, again, the chocolate, anything that's plant-based. Another thing is seed oils, as that's a detriment because of the stress it places on our body as well as our bacteria. And lastly, I would want to include not making time for rest and repair and healing and sleep. That disrupts everything, and especially when we don't have a good night's sleep. I'm sure a lot of us, like if you're like me, you notice the next day that you may have some changes with gut function, and that's not going to be great, especially if that's a chronic ongoing thing. So we do need to try to optimize sleep. So some of the things we want to start doing to help heal and repair and optimize our gut is going to be including foods that are high in amino acids that help to produce collagen. So a collagen supplement may help with this, but a lot of times collagen supplements are broken down into their basic components anyway when we digest them. So if you're spending a lot of money on collagen, you may be just as well to do something like increasing your meat consumption. If you're not eating meat, you would want to look to glycine, lysine, and cysteine, which are the main building blocks for collagen. And their next thing are also going to be vitamin D, because that's a very important immune boosting. It's more like a hormone, and it functions like a hormone in the body. And then lastly are going to be a few different B vitamins, along with our zinc and our magnesium that we're hopefully already taking. So B2, which is riboflavin, can help increase a specific type of bacteria that is known to help it heal and repair the gut. And that's going to be Faecalibacterium procelaski. And that one, I might have to put that in the notes below. It's maybe not the easiest to say, but riboflavin will help boost that. If you're also including B6, that's often included in different supplements like ZMA, which is marketed to have zinc, magnesium, B6, and people are often taking that in the evening with their evening stack because of the magnesium. And this is going to help to produce the neurotransmitters in the gut that helps with gut motility and just making sure we're more regular, but also just optimizing the function a little bit and making sure we don't have like negative symptoms and like gut problems. And the last ones are going to be B9, which is something you want to get probably in a B complex that has like multiple B vitamins, and then B12, as we probably know pretty commonly, especially if we're not eating a lot of animal-based products, that we would be supplementing with B12. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. We have, a recap really quickly. What we've talked about in the past has been optimizing our gut health by optimizing the lining of the gut and decreasing inflammation. So we're taking a systemic approach on reducing inflammation with things like omega-3 and the vitamins we've discussed now, as well as we've talked about increasing the variety of vegetable-based foods that we're including to help to select for a better diversity of gut bacteria. And then also the probiotics that we could supplement with. There's Pendulum, which is a really great brand that helps to replace our Akkermansia bacteria, which is easily lost and not as easily recuperated without a supplement. And then we've also talked about some of the detrimental things like the toxins in the foods that we could be consuming and some of the supplements that we could take with the amino acids and vitamins. So please let us know what questions you have, and please, if you have any other topics you'd like me to go over, I'd be happy to. And we do consults on a one-on-one basis. If you have specific things that I could help you with, I'd be more than happy to discuss that as well. So thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe.